welcome to the Christmas episode, Christmas special of the Cinephile.
I'm not gonna lie, we're recording this on December 27th, 8:51
Currently
p.m.
December 27th, so
This
Christmas
is
has passed.
it's post-Christmas, my guy.
Christmas
Honestly,
is a thing of the mind.
it's a thing of the mind. I'm not going to lie, bro. We are most likely releasing this in the new year.
Christmas, welcome to the Christmas/New Year episode of the Cinephile. How's that sound? Is that better? I think that's better.
Yeah, last episode of the year. We like that.
Speaking of, what's your, how this period between Christmas and New Year should be off permanently?
Yeah,
What are you doing this week?
man. All I've been doing this week is thesis work and having I've been binging Slow Horses, the Apple TV show.
Slow horses.
Yeah,
Yeah, I've not seen that.
man. It just like British crime thriller. What am I saying? My bad. British crime thriller.
Yeah.
You know, that grimy stuff for police. So good. Always so good. Always so good.
I don't even know what that means, man.
I don't know how to explain it, man.
I haven't seen the show, so I wouldn't know.
Yeah, man. It's so good. I don't. Okay, maybe it's because I grew up watching Luther.
Okay.
So, like, yeah. It's just like, this is clutch. This is clutch. So I've been watching that. That's been good. Apart from that, I've been watching a couple other things. Finally caught back on Sound of Metal.
Like your
because
first time watching Sound of Metal?
first time finishing Sound of Metal.
Oh,
I have
okay.
started it like 4 times, but this is my first time finishing Sound of Metal.
Yeah. I
what
have
else?
certain films that I promise myself not to rewatch because I had a somewhat spiritual experience watching it for the first time.
Mhm.
That I don't want it to be tainted, or I don't want to change my memory of that. So Sound of Metal was one of those, but I had to rewatch it because I was seeing comparisons or parallels with Whiplash online. So when I saw Whiplash, I went to watch Sound of Metal just to see, if it touches, if Whiplash even like laces the boots of Sound of Metal, and it doesn't. But I had to go back and see.
I would say they're 2 different types of film.
Yeah.
Okay, like Sound of Metal is about transformative change, and essentially what's lost is lost.
Yeah.
So it's a
Learning
more
when to let
emotional. It's learning when to let go. It's a more emotional development of a character.
Mhm.
Whiplash is tortured artist doubling down on your craft.
Yeah.
That's it. So I don't think it's the same kind of film
They're very
because
different. It's just drummers go crazy.
it's just drummers go crazy, bro.
Yeah.
Yeah. And only other thing I have planned is to go watch Ferrari tomorrow
Okay.
because you remember that was one of my
You've been
major things
talking
of the
about
year.
this for a time now. You've been talking about Ferrari for some time.
Man, why wouldn't I? It's Ferrari. It's bloody Ferrari.
Fair enough.
But I have created a little bit of a path to enjoying Ferrari if you would like to hear me. It's like a little bit of homework.
By all means, go ahead, because I
Okay,
know
so-
you're itching to get this out.
So you start off by watching Ferrari, which is set in 1957. Right now, Enzo is ball or bust. Ferrari might go out of business if they mess up. Then you go into Ford v Ferrari, which is set 1963 to 1966.
Okay.
So now Ferrari, they did not bust. They're up there. They're cooking. They're cooking. They're kind of the antagonist in Ford v Ferrari.
Okay.
Then you go into Lamborghini, which is, I don't know if you watched Lamborghini, but that was
I have
2022.
not seen that, no.
You should, bro. And that was set 1945 to 1992. So whole time, this is like the Lamborghini competition and everything that's going on. Like the beef that's happening. Because Enzo has beef with so many people, bro. Enzo has beef with so many people.
Okay.
And one of the funniest things is that a lot of people don't know this, but Ferrari is the reason Lamborghini exists.
How?
In the form that it is today. Initially, Lamborghini they made tractors.
Okay.
And he was super successful making tractors.
Okay.
And I think he owned a couple of Ferraris, and he was like, the clutch is shit. And then he like complained to them, and I think they laughed at him or some shit. And he was like,
Oh,
"All
so he
right,
was like,
I'll
I
do it
bet I'm gonna
myself."
make my own. I see.
Yeah, it was like
Yeah.
essentially like that because I think they also clowned him like, "Oh, you make tractors, stick out of this business." So what do you mean? So after Lamborghini, you can just like this is slightly unrelated, but actually no, I think Ferrari is very much related. Yeah. And Niki Lauda drove a Ferrari. So the last one is Rush. So that one's set in 1970 to 1976, and that's the Niki Lauda James Hunt movie,
Yeah.
which one of my favorite fucking movies ever. So if you really just want to sit down and have like a 4 movie run, that's pretty beautiful.
Okay.
That's it. If you want to like toss in this is which now this is a great pivot to what I want to talk about or what I want to hate on. I will dive into hating on it a little
I
bit
was about
more
to say
later
Gran
on.
Turismo, bro.
Yes, you toss
Uh,
in Gran Turismo because man, I have a lot to say, but we can talk about it later in this episode. Steve, tell me, how was your weekend?
you might as well add Fast and Furious while we're at it, since we're just calling all the cars, all the movies with cars going crazy. I'm
No, but
surprised you
like,
didn't see Cars too.
Jesus Christ, bro. No, but like all these films, almost all of them have like, it's a timeline thing, and they're almost all related to Ferrari in some aspect.
Yeah. I get that. No, I get that. My week, so I'm still working. It feels like a regular ass week to me, but it's good
Mm-hmm.
because half the company's off. I just used up all my PTO when my parents were here, so I have no more off days.
Mm-hmm.
So this feels like a regular ass week to me. I was planning on seeing a lot more movies, but it's been freaking raining. Like it's raining right now, even.
It's been
So
boring. It's
I
been
haven't
bloody
seen
boring.
haven't seen anything. I don't plan on seeing Ferrari. I'm just hoping in the next 3 days I could squeeze in Wonka, Poor Things, Iron Claw. Yeah, those three. Maybe Zone of Interest within the last 4 days. If I can do one every day, do a double header, I'll be fine. But that's my plan for now. I haven't seen anything. Just been working. But all the ones that have been out at home, I started them. I started the new Percy Jackson. I feel like it's so much gas. I like when
I started
like
the new one too.
yeah, I
Isn't it?
like when
It's only 2 episodes that are out, yeah.
yeah,
I've watched it, and I don't know how to say. Like you're super excited about it, but for me, I think like I just find myself comparing so
to
much
to what?
to like the original Percy Jackson
I don't think I saw the original Percy Jackson.
with
No,
Logan Lerman. You never watched the OG?
I don't think so.
There
No.
were like 3 or 4 movies.
Oh, movies. We saw them
Yeah,
in Loyola. In high school, we had like movie night for them. I thought you meant like a TV show.
no, there was never a TV show. Like this is what
Yeah,
people have been arguing for. Like all these shows. I mean, all these books that have multiple series instead of making TV shows. I mean, instead of
yeah,
making what's it called, movies, because you can't have enough content. It's
yeah,
just better to flesh them out into like miniseries or TV
yeah.
shows as a whole.
We saw it in Loyola for movie night, but I haven't. I don't remember that. It was a long time ago. So, but what I was going to say is, I just like when they cast kids,
Hmm.
they act as kids as opposed to casting. Because I also saw this. I binged this Netflix show. Um, My Life with Walter Boards. I do not recommend. 0/10. Like strong 0/10. Absolutely do not recommend. But I binged that with friends over the weekend, and it's like 23-year-olds, 25-year-olds acting as teenagers, and it's so obvious that they're teenagers, that they're grown adults. But the Percy Jackson show looked like kids.
I
And
think it looks like kids, and that's a very good thing. But
mhm.
I think it also makes me feel worried for like some of the, I don't know, man.
What do you mean?
Like because I guess it's because of our age now, because it's kids, and they
Mhm.
look very, very, very much like I'd be better if they were like aged at 15, 16,
Why?
because some
Are
of
you
their
worried
feats
that
were.
what's going to happen to the Harry Potter cast is going to, they're going to get so engulfed in, like, basically their lives are no longer theirs? Is that what you're saying?
There's that worry, one, but the second worry I have is that I feel like it's just going to be a bit infantilizing, if you get what I mean.
Oh,
It's
like
gonna feel like
juvenile.
it, yeah, it's gonna feel like a kids show. That's
Oh, well, it's not in the hands of kids. Like the showrunners are, they're very capable of not making it go down that route, if that makes sense.
no, I get it, I get it.
Yeah.
But I think it's also funny because this is one of like the first shows where it's like you're really seeing like grown adults like
Hmm.
beefing with like young kids. You know, like at your big age,
Yeah.
like because I think Edge is one of the ops. I think Edge was casted as Ares, so it's a bit. It's like, oh, at your big age.
But yeah, so I started that as well. And I've mostly, for the most part, though, I've been rewatching stuff. I rewatched Past Lives, I rewatched Uncut Gems, I rewatched Barbie.
That's funny because
So
I rewatched Past Lives too, and I
yeah,
think one of the craziest things about Past Lives is how you like spin the block on your ex and you make her marriage stronger. Yeah, bro.
damn. Why would you say that? Ah, damn.
You know how insane that is? Like you make her marriage stronger.
But that's let's not talk. Let's not get into past lives because I will not stop. But I think that's part of Celine Song's genius, like because it's not to be interpreted. I was reading this review after I saw it because people make the mistake of interpreting it as a love story between Nora and Hey Song,
Hey Sonia.
and it's not meant to be, like it really is letting go, and it's a goodbye, like it's their goodbye tale, and or more so resignation, or accepting defeatedness, or accepting that what was isn't to be. And so that's why it seems like it's making their relationship stronger. I just don't like that sound because that's going to hurt me more, like
No, I
saying
know.
it's going to hurt me more than the film itself already did.
But
Well,
realistically, Steve,
yeah, yeah, I know,
he did make the
I know.
relationship so much
Bro,
stronger.
when she was making the walk back from the cab back
Yeah.
home, and her husband opened the door for her and hugged her, someone that was watching it was like, wow, this man is so understanding. They pray you find a good man like that. And I'm like, bro, that man does not exist, bro. Like, it's not possible. There's no way you're going to just like be crying about your long lost ex in my arms, and I'm just there hugging you, like, But that's the beauty of it. That's part of the beauty of it too.
No, I hear what you're saying. I hear what you're cooking. But why I think he comforted her and why I think she should have been comforted is that she was more so crying about the chapter in her life she has to close.
Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah, that's
So
what it was. Yeah,
so she's not crying, oh my ex is gone, or like,
I know.
it's just more so like my life, like that part of me has gone. That
Yeah,
part of my life has gone. Which is
yeah.
like it's
It's
pretty sad.
grief. It's
Yeah.
grief because she's not crying because she wants to be with Haesung. It's more
Hmm.
so like she's grieving that, like, it's the 5 stages of grief have happened over the past 2 days. She's finally accepting, and the acceptance is, it's sad, but it's a different type of sad
It's a different type of sad.
than if you just got a breakup or something. But
But I think it's also interesting because we discussed what did we talk about? I think the first time we talked about past lives, we majorly
mhm,
focused on the immigrant story.
on the immigrant experience, yeah,
Yeah. But it's just so interesting that we barely touched on how the emotional aspects of it though. I know we
yeah,
talked a lot about the goodbyes, but
yep.
it's an interesting film. It's a great film to
It
rewatch.
is. I feel like we can do multiple. We can come back to revisit it, and it's going to get like it's. I have this weird feeling that it's going to surprise people at the Oscars. I don't want to be awards driven, but I've just been
Hmm.
thinking about it a lot more, and I have this feeling it's just going to come up more because right now people don't really have it at the books for many. Outside of the story, yeah, outside of the story, people don't really have it on the books for many, but I have a feeling it's going to do a lot more than people are thinking right now. But
It's
yeah,
first.
we'll talk about it some more. Um, okay, so we've talked about what we've been watching. I think I'm gonna start off with May December. I think that's the one I want to start off with because I don't have much to say about it. I don't want to. I'm never going to rewatch it, and after this episode, I'm probably never going to talk about it ever again because I felt deeply unsettled watching May December. Um, for a few reasons. One is so Charles Melton is acting as the man, if you can call him that in the movie. I looked his age up, and he's in real life. He's younger than the character that he's portraying.
Yeah.
So is Gracie. Um, she's in real life again older than the character that she's portraying. So it's like, you know, that in and of itself is obviously intentional, and I think it just goes on to highlight how emotionally and like mentally stunted he is, Charles Melton, versus how much of a predator like she actually is.
Hmm.
The fact that she's, you know, this predator, this preying on this young man thing is even like highlighted by the fact that she's older than the character, and the fact that he's this shell of a man. He's this emotionally stunted person who doesn't even know how to be a parent to his kids, how to be a partner to his spouse, or how to be a friend to the actress. Like that's all highlighted by him actually being younger than that character. So I thought that was, that was deeply unsettling. But also how normal the story felt. Like it's a weird script, it's a weird plot, but the acting is so good that it makes everything feel normal. Like I feel like I could go spend Christmas with this family. I feel like
See, come on.
I feel like I could have dinner with this. Like I feel like it's not a fantasy. It's like it feels like it's based on real events. It's loosely based on real events. It's not a semi autobiography. It's just like loosely based. It's heavily fictionalized, but it feels so real. It feels like a proper biography, bro. And that just made my skin crawl. I'm not even kidding.
No, 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 truly. Because I remember seeing the when the movie first came out on Netflix. Well, I
Yeah.
think it was when it was first announced. The videos were making rounds of the interviews where she
Mhm.
was like saying that who was in charge thing, who was in
Yeah.
charge. And
Yeah.
in my head, I'm like, ma'am, this child was 13.
Bro.
You're talking about he was very, and I think one thing that's always kind of ticked me off is the abuser language of, oh, you're very smart for your age, or you're
Mhm.
very mature for your age.
Yeah.
Immediately I see that or I hear that, it's such a massive red flag. Absolutely insane red flag.
Yeah. This just rubbed me up the wrong way, and then obviously the part that the way it ended, which was reference to when she was in that drama class and she was talking about intimate scenes and how, sometimes you get so into the scene that the line between what is fiction and what is reality gets blurred a little. And then we see the film, we see how it goes, and we get to the end of the film, and she's actually shooting with that kid,
Hmm.
and the exact same thing is happening. Like she's getting so into the seduction scene that the line between reality and filming gets blurred, and it's just like, bro, have you not learned anything from the past 2 hours? Like, you know what I mean? Everything about it just made my skin crawl. I guess, which is testament to good filmmaking, but I just did not want, like, I don't want to engage in this anymore.
No, I
Shout out.
completely understand.
Yeah.
I feel like Mouse's performance was, it was for me, I feel like it was a deeply uncomfortable film.
Yeah, it
And I feel
was.
like that's such a good thing.
Yes.
The way he portrayed it was deeply uncomfortable. Um, to the point where even in as an adult, you see the deficiencies in the effect of what happened to him.
Hmm.
Like you see it on that scene on the roof with his child. You
Yeah.
see it whenever he's struggling to like get his words out and convey
Yes.
how he feels.
Yeah.
You see it when
The sex
when
scene.
the sex scene that happens at the end,
Yeah.
and yeah, so it just feels
She
deeply
said that's
uncomfortable.
what she said that's what grown-ups do. That line is
That
going to haunt me, bro. Like
absolutely
that's just
insane,
what grown-ups do. And they're the
absolutely
same age.
insane.
They're meant to be the same age, rather. Their characters are the same age. And here she is, because she's mature and she's grown, referring to this shell of a man again as not one of the grown-ups talking basically like you would talk to a kid. It's
Essentially,
just like, yeah, I think that was the nail in the coffin for me. That's when it was like, okay, um, yeah, I'm not doing this.
I
Um,
think that was a very interesting aspect of the film, though. I felt like could that did not need to be included, but it does contribute to like I said, it contributes to the story and shows the effects
yeah,
of how much and all the different aspects of his life that have been stunted, essentially.
yeah, I
Yeah.
agree. But deeply carried by the acting. I've seen praise for the music. I do not like the music. It would get loud. Yeah, I really hated it, and it didn't help because I was unsettled. I think something that unsettling would require a score that either accompanies it or like amplifies, or the opposite, like calms you down. It just felt like so out of place, and it felt so like haphazardly put together that it was so distracting to me. Like, it was distracting. That's the word. It was jarring. It didn't. It wasn't going with the rest of the film, and it was just so out of place. And I hated the music. But I guess like people like music that is just so there, like so present and so overbearing. I guess that's why there's praise for it. But I actually hated the music. Yeah, I like the acting. I think it's a film that's heavily carried by its acting. I mean,
Heavily,
You
heavily
have
carried.
Natalie Portman and Julianne Moore, like having, for lack of a better term, like they're having a who can serve the most cons, like, and they're going back and forth.
Uh,
It's like,
Steve, I don't like that term, bro. I don't like that term. For a film about abuse, you're talking about a cunt off?
oh fuck, I just heard that. Okay,
Yeah.
bad, my
But
bad.
I know you were joking. I know it was a little joke.
Yeah,
But
and they're just going back and forth. It's like a tennis game, especially every time that they're on screen together. It's like, okay, who's winning? Who's
yeah,
going
it's
to come
very
out of
much like
this?
a challenging thing. Like, oh, it's me
Yeah,
against you type vibes, which
yeah,
I think contributed nicely to the film.
yeah.
I think another thing that's very interesting about the movie is that it was no, it's not interesting about the movie. It's interesting about the award season. You know, I think I tweeted this, but May December was like musical comedy.
I saw that at the Golden Globes. Yeah.
Yeah, and honestly, that sent me over the bloody moon. I was, I was livid, bro. I was so
So
confused.
that one, I also tweeted about this. People are upset, because it's been categorized as a comedy or a black comedy, and it's like, and as someone tweeted, oh, if people watched May December and felt like this was a comedy, that they're so concerned for media literacy or whatever, and I'm like, well, first of all, sure, it's a drama, it's obviously fucking drama, but if it has comedic elements in it, the fact that there's abuse being portrayed, that doesn't negate the comedy aspect of it. Like, there is still comedy in the film. Like, you're still allowed to watch something and find aspects of it funny.
No, I completely understand, but Steve, I felt like there was the quote unquote funniest line, and I like cross referenced this with other people that had watched it, and in my head was like the hot dog scene,
The hot
and
dog scene.
yeah, where she's like, "Oh, we need hot dogs," and they like zoom in, and the music goes dun
Uh-huh.
dun. Like that's the only like quote unquote
Yeah, yeah,
funny
yeah.
scene,
Yeah.
and maybe the other scene where she's like, "Oh, I'm so proud of you that you could wear the dress like that with arms like that or something like that." But for
Hmm.
me, I felt like there was very little that was actually very funny in this whole situation.
It's dark. It's a dark. It's like borderline satirical. It's a dark comedy drama.
Mm.
Like it's little bits here and there. It's neither here nor there though. Scenes with Georgie, her first son, the son that you know
Okay, I could
like
see.
parts of that were funny. The part at dinner where she was talking about how she got her a scale for graduation. When she snapped back at her, she was like, you're not wearing the necklace I got you as your graduation present. Like little things like that, where just like chuckles, haha, here, like here or there. So I had no qualms with it being nominated in the comedy. I feel like if the focus of the film, because there've been movies about race, we went through this when Get Out was nominated under the under the comedy section as well,
Mm.
and we go through it over and over again. the fact
It's
that there's a very very serious, key aspect of the plot, I don't think that negates the underlying tone of the film if the underlying tone is comedic, so
fair.
yeah, yeah. But good film, good acting, terrific acting. Did not like the music, but I can recognize why people liked it. I like the pictures, beautiful pictures. I would definitely never rewatch.
I would generally, I would never rewatch.
I would not be rewatching this. So
Okay.
happy for
Now,
everyone involved, and good luck to them.
now I have a question about a movie that I feel like we both hated this. I genuinely feel like we both hated this. But how do you feel about Leave the World Behind?
So everything I just said, this is the opposite. Terrible film. I will definitely rewatch though. So the reason why, I guess more generally to answer your question, I didn't think it was terrible. I just felt like it was a waste of time because Obama has been writing pretty hard for that. I think that's one of the more touted, like the more promoted ones from their production company this year. They
Mhm.
have they have Rustin. I think they have
They do
American
have Rustin.
Fiction and Leave the World Behind. And I think they put more to market this one than the others. And so I'm like, yo, you know what, Mahershala Ali, like, bro, come on, I will be there. And I was actually looking forward to it. And the girl, Mahala, I forget her,
Myla, yeah.
yeah, I forget her last name.
Myla
Girl,
Heron,
yeah,
yeah.
yeah, yeah. I really like both of them as well. Ethan Hunt,
Ethan Hunt did a
um,
great job. Ethan Hunt did a great job.
yeah.
Julia Roberts convinced me very much so that she could play a good racist.
Bro, my default is to think that every white actress that's worth their salt can play a good racist.
I
That's my
don't know,
default.
man. She
That's just
just
my default to believe.
she just pushed me in a way that like I was just like, and it wasn't just like microaggression. It was deep racism, bro. It was deep racism, but it wasn't like super overt
Yeah.
where you can't call the N word.
Hmm.
Yeah. So like when she did that, I was like, oh, I was gripping my seat and pissed. I was absolutely bloody pissed.
um, but yeah, no, I think it was a waste of time because we've seen films like this before. Bird Box is, s- has a similar feel.
I don't think
Don't
so.
don't look well. It does feel. It's not the same themes, but it has a similar feel to it.
Huh. Okay. Okay. I,
Yeah.
I I would listen to that, but
Same with Don't Look Up. I felt like there was maybe I'm just taking the Netflix aspect, the fact
I
that it's
feel like
produced on
I think
Netflix.
you're grouping a couple of
Yeah, but
Netflix
then
movies
it's
together.
there's the feel of the apocalypse, or dystopian slash apocalypse feel to them as well. Coupled with the
Mm.
fact that it's super super A-lister or couple A-listers in the film with like a bunch of nobodies. And the plot is not held together. Like these are money grabs for Netflix. I think that's why I'm grouping them together. And then I'm also going to throw Don't Look Up in there because, also again apocalyptic, A-listers. The plot is good, but overrated if you ask me. But yeah, anyway, I felt like I've seen a few of I had seen this before when I started watching it, and then the movie kept going on, and I'm like, bro, I'm trying to figure out what's happening. And by the third act, I realized, like, bro, I've never seen anything like this before. Like, I actually don't know what this is. Like, I've seen films that try to build up and fall flat, and I've seen films that like hint at going one way and then go a separate different way. This film seemed like it was building up and going one way, then it started to go around, and then it fell flat. But then it tried to like pick up the falling pieces, and then it just ended. Like it literally just
It
ended.
really just ended.
There was no coming together. There's no culmination of the scenes. What happened with the animals? What happened to the rich family that was going to that bunker? What happened to the guy that was prepared for the end of the world, like Doomsday Prep man over there? Like what happened to the kid that lost his teeth? Like, you know what I mean? Like, what happened?
No, I understand. But I think it's also meant to like contribute to that feeling of hopelessness. But I think in general, for me, it just felt like a film about nothing. Do you understand? There was
Yeah,
just a film. It might be a movie made for money laundering. I'm not gonna lie because I
it
don't
might
see
be. It might be
I
low
generally
key.
don't see like the most expensive thing that they probably did in that whole movie was crashing all those Teslas
All those
together.
planes, yeah. Oh, the Teslas even too, yeah,
Yeah, maybe the planes. Yeah, maybe the planes. But honestly, it just pissed me off because it felt
yeah,
like there was nothing going on, and it felt like a
mm,
movie that you could feel that nothing was really going on by
yeah.
like the 35-minute mark.
Nothing. Yeah. And there's just so many things that had me like I thought, okay, maybe sure the animals are trying to warn them about something. Maybe you know how animals might have this like intuition, but that
Hmm.
went to nowhere, you know. And you know the thing with the dare and how they were all pulling up to that girl. I thought it had something to do with the girl, and then that like the big like king of the dare or whatever that was like approaching, like that just meant nothing. The ship, I guess, okay, they cut off their satellites.
Yeah,
Ship
the
did not have a
navigation was
navigation
messing up.
system.
Yeah.
Navigation was messed up, and you know, so was the planes. And I'm guessing one of the planes crashed, should have led us to their mom died, but that also led to, bro, it was just, I could go on and on. All the subplots, and at the end of the
All
day,
that's exactly all
the
the
only
subplots.
one, the only subplot that mattered was the fucking friends one, which is just like, of all the ones that you could have picked, that's the one you decide to actually hone in on.
No, I
Bro,
hated the friends thing. I genuinely did. It pissed me off so much, especially when like, and like the fact that they went looking for her and everything. Like it just,
yeah,
I know I understand that you're gonna go look for your child if they disappear,
yeah.
but just for fuck's sakes, man, do you get me?
Someone said it's the most expensive ad for physical media ever because the whole
Absolutely.
point, I guess, is that even in the end of the world, your physical media is going to prevail, so you can watch the final episode of Friends. So I guess.
I guess. I bloody guess.
But yeah, that one, I wish I left behind. I will probably rewatch as a joke or just for shits and giggles if I'm with someone that hasn't seen that.
Mhm.
Will not take that. I don't take that serious. Obama, you're so far 0 for 1 this year. I plan on seeing the rest, but so far 0 for 1. I don't know if you saw, but he dropped his
Yeah, but
best
like I feel like majority of them were movies that
he was involved in.
he was
Yeah,
involved in. Yeah, because like
yeah,
I
yeah.
watched Rustin, I was like, oh, this is your movie, this is on your list. Okay,
But he made that. That's why.
that's it. That's it.
Yeah, yeah. I haven't seen Rustin yet, and then I plan on seeing. I don't know. So American Symphony is John Baptiste's it's his documentary, biographical documentary on
Hmm.
making his first, it's like talking about his life and his wife struggle with leukemia, and he's organizing a concert in somewhere in New York. I haven't seen it. But I was watching this video with him and Billie Eilish and Dua Lipa and Olivia Rodrigo. It's basically people that are touted to be nominated for Best Song this year.
Hmm.
And he's like talking about his journey with his wife and how he wasn't sure. I don't even know why Obama's company picked this up. It doesn't seem like anything up their alley. But he's talking about his journey with his wife and whatnot. And I'm like, this is so deep, bro. I don't know if I want to see this film. Like, I mean, my mental health is in this state right now that a sad movie that I'm not expecting it to be sad might actually break me. So I'm very worried about that one. But I plan on seeing it, so I guess we'll see.
I think, man, I don't know if it's gonna be worth it. Can't lie, I don't know. But another
It's
movie
been
that
it's been
came out,
heavily reviewed though. It's received very good reviews so far, so
there's
we'll
another
see.
movie that came out that received polarizing reviews recently, and
Horizon.
yeah, it's
Which one?
Maestro. Did you watch Maestro?
I haven't.
I think we're gonna have to talk about it when you do.
Yeah.
All I want to say, Cillian Murphy, Killian, my
Killian. Yeah.
Killian, your Oscar is safe. Your Oscar is safe. Oppenheimer, your Oscar is safe.
So you know why I haven't seen it, so I haven't seen. So I need to see to make my judgment. But you know why I don't necessarily agree with those Killian your Oscar safe takes? the Academy loves and sucks a good biopic. And Oppenheimer,
Oppenheimer. I was gonna say that's biopic for
sure,
biopic.
it's a biopic, but that's not like the biopic like that's not. It's not. It doesn't feel like a biopic. Like if it's such epic sci-fi, if you call it that, or it's such epic like biography that the the biopic part of it, aspect of it, is so like reduced. Especially because we're looking at it from different points of views. We have the different camera. There's a lot going on.
There's a lot
There's
going on.
there is a whole there's bombs. It's like it's so epic that it becomes almost touted, like the performances are almost reduced in the way that sci-fi performances tend to not get nominated. And then we had Angela Bassett last year break that barrier and not get any awards. So um yeah, they tend to focus more on like actual biopic because to them that's quote unquote real acting, and I think Maestro might stand a chance because that feels more like the type of biopics than what Oppenheimer.
I will say this: when you watch it, when you get a chance to watch it,
Mm-hmm.
we'll rediscuss. We'll have these points together,
Yeah,
and especially the fact that it is very much far from a traditional biopic.
especially the fact that it's far from a traditional
This is
biopic.
far from a traditional biopic. I don't
Okay.
know how to explain it. It's the way I feel like it's either this way. You either love it because of the way it's made, or you
Mhm.
hate it because of the way it's
The
made.
way it's made.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'll be seeing that soon. I'm planning on seeing that very soon. So when I
When you
do,
get time.
yeah, when I do, we'll talk
Told you, there's
about
no
that.
rush right now for that. Especially for that. There's no
And
rush.
another one. Speaking of things that you would love because of the way they're made, or the way or you hate because of the way it's made. Rebel Moon Part One, Out of Fire. Yeah, so I hated this one
Hated it
specifically
so
because of the
much.
way specifically because of the way it's made, and more and missed other things. I think for one, if you're writing a story that's sci-fi, um, especially sci-fi of this nature, if you're attempting to make something that would feel like a Star Wars or feels like Rogue One or something along those lines, I think you want to heavily invest in editing, visual effects. I think that would be an easy starting point based on other people that have done films like this.
Hmm.
But that doesn't equate like having so much post production. Like it felt like there was a slow mo scene every other scene. Like it felt like a lot of it was just like slow shots. And then at some point, I'm like they try to talk about the robots and the robotic futuristic aspect of it, but that is so reduced. Like we get to see in some scenes and then we don't get to see in some scenes. That's kind of hard to picture what timeline we're actually in. And the pacing, God, that's one of the worst paced movies I've seen this year, easily. Because you're
Pacing is
dragging
so
out
bloody horrible.
they dragged out certain times or scenes, and then we brushed through certain times that I couldn't really tell how much time. Granted, I was high when I watched it,
I'm
but they dragged
screaming.
they dragged out certain aspects and they like reduced, they condensed certain aspects that it was actually hard to deep how much time had passed or the lack thereof.
Mhm.
And again, it's just a part one. We might need to see the part two to see how everything ties out. But I also couldn't tell the dead from the undead, especially in that one scene at the end after that guy had died and he went up to what I believe was artificial intelligence heaven, and he was talking to this other guy that kept banging his stick on the ground.
Oh, I think it was. I think that was just like a neural link thing. So just like, I think honestly, I don't think he was dead. I weirdly enough, I think he's a robot with skin, which is weird. Or there are parts of him that like they upload. Basically, like what they say FaceTime is gonna be like in like 4 years.
Yeah, yeah,
Yeah, so holograms and everything, just super immersive. But that was very interesting. Shall I read to you my notes I took while watching the movie? Honestly, I had to
yeah.
stop taking notes when I noticed the film was just going to be nothing.
Yeah, sure, go on.
Okay, Rebel Moon. You can definitely see that he's been doing the slow motion thing a lot better than the last Zack Snyder movie. Okay, I lied. There was too much slow motion here.
Exactly.
Okay, we need to cut. He needs less slow motion. I don't understand.
Yeah.
Why do the space guys have Irish and Australian accents? You can definitely see the team up thing from Justice League, but it's
Mm-hmm.
very
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
this is really not done well. There's like almost no character backstory.
No character development.
Yeah, there are too many shots of Charlie Hunnam making an I don't know about that face. Honestly, the way that he's not really involved in any of the actual fights, he might just be the op. There are some fights where they just let a character solo someone, and it's like, damn, can they get some help? I see why this shit was released on Netflix. Keep the rest of the parts.
Yeah.
That's and that is really how it is. That is really how I felt throughout
Yeah.
watching the whole thing.
Yeah. I went back and forth as well in my head, and I was just like, I don't know, man. I do not want to see if this is the future of sci-fi. If this is what Snyder has been cooking for us,
This is what Snyder's been cooking for us,
he can
brother.
keep it, man.
Do you know another thing that pisses me off?
Well,
It's the fact that it's the fact that they man, I'm just like completely baffled by this whole thing that we're doing here. Cause why is it so ass? And I feel like he knows he's gonna release a shit movie. Then he's gonna come out and be like, the director's cut is so much better. It's a whole different movie. It's a whole new movie. Why does every fucking one of your movies have to be 4 hours? For it to be good by your standards or by any like decent standards, your movie has to be 4 hours.
I genuinely believe. I think it's a major payday for him. I think Netflix just threw a ton of money towards him,
Mm.
and so he's just using it as like a major payday. That's the only way I'm able to reconcile because I refuse to believe the guy that made Justice League and 300 made this. I refuse to believe that. So yeah,
Yeah,
that's
bro.
my
It
that's
just
my spiel on that. And then I wasn't planning on, but I happened to see the creator right after,
okay.
and it just felt like too much sci-fi. So I think I'm going to go to make sure, definitely make sure I'm 14 after this, take a break from this futuristic BS. But that the creator was weirdly slash oddly refreshing because I had seen reviews. Like I've been seeing reviews since it was in theaters. I don't think it's in theaters anymore. I saw it on Hulu.
Hmm.
But the reviews were basically hating on it like so much that I partly wrote it off even before clicking play. But when I pressed play and from the get go, everything was looking good. So I didn't even know who did the cinematography before. I didn't know who did the music, but it was Greg Fraser and Hans Zimmer,
Yeah, it was
both of who
similar.
obviously worked on Dune. I think Greg Fraser also did the Batman. So it looked beautiful and rightfully so. But the thing I would say is, in like I just mentioned Dune and Batman, there's a whole bunch of like calming scenes, but the films follow the characters, and because both of those are very action based, when, for example, when the Batman is chasing the penguin or when he has an explosion, the camera goes crazy, like the pictures go crazy, or when there's a sandworm, like those pictures go crazy.
Hmm.
But then so it's a lot of like it's a lot going on, it's a lot going on. Same with the music. Hans Zimmer doesn't know how to, I didn't think he knew he had a mellow button, but in the creator everything follows because it's an emotional story. It's a love story before anything else. And I think they're both, I didn't know that they had that aspect to them. um but they went very in line with the rest of the film, and they actually like toned it down a lot. They had this, intermittently they would go freak modes like they always do.
Yeah.
But yeah, I just think everything complemented itself so properly. I thought the acting was good. I think the script could have been better. The story was a little bit all over the place. My main issue with it, though, it wasn't even that. My main issue is Have you seen the creator? I don't think you have.
I have seen The Creator. It
Okay.
wasn't. It just for me did not feel like a great movie. I felt like the
Okay.
easiest way for me to say is that it bit off a bit more than it could chew without diving into some things as well as it could have
Okay.
fleshed them
Yeah.
out.
I think that would be the issue with the script. Yeah. It was a little bit ambitious and they didn't have the pacing to accompany it. But the technicals were great.
The
My biggest
technicals are
issue
great,
with it, my biggest issue with it
and John
is
David Washington was also great.
yeah. But my biggest issue with it was so you somehow make a movie that loosely sounds like 9/11, right? Explosion in the US, foreign, quote unquote, foreign enemy,
Hmm.
and so, like you decide to replace the human enemy aspects of it with AI. Oh, that's great. It's a terrorist thing, but we're not going to blame any humans. We're not going to go and bombard, like, send drones and bombs to this foreign country, but you somehow find a way to include race as a subplot into it. And I'm like, bro, they were calling it New Asia. And I'm like, New Asia sounds a lot like Afghanistan, if you ask me. And they were calling the creator Nimrata. And I'm like, bro, Nimrata, Bin Laden, like, I kind of see where you're getting these things from. So I don't know. I would have just liked it better if we didn't have to get all like imperialist about like bombing somewhere in the Middle East again and again and again, and treating, looking at people as less than, just all of that, you know, shucking it off to the side and saying, oh, it's AI, they don't feel anything, it's just programming. But their faces are obviously another race. That just kept rubbing me off the wrong way. But maybe I was reading into it too much because of what's happening right now. I think when I
Realistically, I don't think you were reaching. I don't
thank
think
you,
you were reaching. I'm gonna be honest here.
thank you too.
Yeah, I think it's also like a. But yeah, I think the major thing is that it's a propaganda film,
Yeah,
and it's not really a good one. And I don't know how to say it. It's a bad propaganda film, and you just get kind of tired of having to
yeah,
watch it midway.
fair enough. I loved it. I loved that, but yeah, I can see why it's mixed. Why the reviews are mixed. I think I needed it, and again, after watching Rebel Moon, I feel like anything I saw would have been a step up, and it just happened to be that. But I really did like it. Um, and I like a good girl dad film too. I like a film. Yeah, I like a film with heart, and this has a lot of heart. So that's
Hmm.
another thing that's going great for it. So yeah,
Yeah, I think that was a great grace end to like our movie discussions. Do you
okay.
have any recs for people to watch before the new year?
Rex before the new year. If you can squeeze poor things in, I haven't seen
Mm,
them yet to see bad reviews for that. If you can squeeze poor things in, strongly recommend.
strongly recommend Poor Things
Strongly
too.
recommend poor things. Strongly recommend Iron Claw. I think it's even open to better. It had good reviews prior to opening, but post opening, it's
I
open
w-
to better than expected.
I wouldn't recommend Iron Claw if you're not used to if you don't want to be sad, if you don't want to be Birkin. It's not like a fun little WWE movie. Just want to say, just want to say, um,
Yeah.
I would recommend a bit of weirdness. You want to have a weird little vibe.
Okay.
Saltburn is out for everyone, so enjoy that. Enjoy Saltburn. Emerald Fennel. I love Emerald Fennel, the director. I hate Emerald Fennel, the writer. This,
I've been seeing a lot of that flying around.
yeah,
Which
Emerald
is so
Fennel,
crazy because
the
her
writer, is the
Oscar her
biggest
Oscar
op.
is for writing. That's why it's
I
so crazy.
I know, but I enjoyed Saltburn. If you
Yeah.
enjoy like a little grandiose Eat the Rich film, honestly, I feel bad calling it an Eat the Rich film. I just rather call it a capitalist film. Opportunities are around us,
Capitalist.
man. Open your eyes. That's exactly what he did. Okay,
I don't know when I'm gonna see Saltburn. I don't like seeing films that are getting a lot of discourse because I feel like it just rubs me, like it makes me put layers onto it while I'm watching it. So I want the discourse to die before I see that. So
I
I
think
don't
the
know.
discourse has pretty much died down.
Nah,
So
it's still
I
on my
think
tail. It's a lot of it is on
really,
my tail. Yeah.
all I'll say is check. Just give it like 2 more days, and I think you can probably watch it though. Okay, now the next thing on my mind is to close up this episode. We're gonna play a couple games. Christmas
Definitely.
themed.
Christmas
Okay.
theme. It's
Christmas
getting
themed. Okay. Christmas movies are so popular that it's really hard. And they're so nichey that you can't really do it without,
okay.
you know? Okay,
Okay.
but I will try. I will try. A kid's family goes on vacation, forgets him at home. Some robbers try to break in. He sets traps.
Home Alone.
Home Alone. Okay. Guy visiting his wife gets stuck fighting bad guys in the building she's in. He fights them without shoes on.
Say that again.
A guy visiting his wife gets stuck fighting bad guys in the building she's in, and he fights them without shoes on. Tricky. This one's a little tricky. There's debate about whether it's a Christmas movie.
Die Hard.
It is Die Hard. It is Die Hard. Um, since your face looked a little bit
I was so
there,
confused.
you looked a little confused. So I'm gonna give you an easy one. An elf goes to New York to find his dad.
Elf.
Yeah.
Who's his dad? Santa?
Yeah, I know. It's like that's why they told him to leave. He
Oh,
literally went to New York to find
I
his dad.
saw that so long ago that I didn't really remember what Will
You
Ferrell was
know,
doing.
that's funny because I watched Elf for the first time this year.
For real?
For real, I've always
Yeah.
kind of hated it because of the
Yeah.
vibe it has and just what it looks like. It just always kind of made me a bit uncomfortable. But I watched it this time, and I was right to hate on it. I was right to hate on it. Okay, okay,
Wait, speaking of John Favreau, the director,
yeah,
he was happy in the MCU.
yeah,
Do you
yeah.
like
But
John Favreau the director or John Favreau the actor
I
better?
prefer John Favreau to. Oh, okay. So I don't like John Favreau, the actor in what's it called in the MCU, but I like him in
No.
movies like Chef.
Okay.
Yeah. So I
Okay.
like I like his other stuff. Man, I don't know. Just like when the boys get into MCU stuff, they just like dim they
Dim
dim
your
their
light.
lights a
Yeah,
little bit.
I saw discourse about what's this called? The guy who acts as the Hulk.
Mark Ruffalo and like
Yes,
because
and
of what
people
he's doing
saying
in
like
Poor Things.
they're surprised by his acting range, and I'm like, where have you been, bro?
Where have you
Then,
been?
but I guess if you're, I hate to use that term. I'm so sorry to anyone that's offended.
You want to
But
say
if
a
you're,
casual?
yes, I was
You
gonna
want to
say
say a
casual.
casual?
If you're a casual, then that's what you're more likely to see him in. But he's not even in. He's in mainstream stuff.
He's in,
Like
bro. He's in
he's
now. You
dead.
see me. He's in what's it called? Shutter Island. He's in like classics like Begin Again. Like he's in a lot of stuff.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So, but anyway, next show.
Zodiac. Oh my
Exactly.
god. What else was he in?
Spotlight.
Adam Project. That one. Oh
Yeah.
yes. Was he in the Eternal Sunshine of the Spotless Mind?
I don't know. I just know he was in Spotlight, but Internal. I
The
don't
Jim
think he was in
Carrey
Eternal
thing.
Sunshine of the Spotless Man.
I think
Oh,
he
he
is.
was. Oh, shoot, he
Yeah.
was. Yeah, yeah, yeah.
Yeah.
Forgot that.
It's okay. It's okay. All right. So last couple to wrap it up, but these are not Christmas themed. Are you ready?
Mm-hmm.
Okay. Jory Gray tries to get a super special rock.
I just saw this.
It's
Uncut Gems. I just
Uncut
rewatched
Gems.
it. Yeah,
Absolutely. Absolutely.
that's a good one.
Okay. Being single is against the rules here. Guy has to
The
hurt
Lobster.
the lobster. Yeah.
Good
Okay.
one.
Um, guy loses his hearing and starts throwing up sign language. I was gonna say start
Uh,
throwing up gang signs, but I was like, you know what? Let me behave. Let me just like let me chill.
nah, I should have definitely go with gang signs.
Yeah.
Sound of Metal.
Yeah, sound of metal. Going from the jungle to London.
Paddington.
Yeah, Paddington. The jungle to London. You know that.
Going to London is crazy.
Yeah, but if I said London to the jungle, you'd say Tarzan. So yeah,
Oh,
ladies and
uh,
gentlemen, this has been another great episode of the Cinephiles IO. Thank you so much
Thank
for
you for
tuning
being
in.
with us. Merry
Merry
Christmas,
Christmas.
Happy Hanukkah, Happy Kwanzaa.
Happy holidays, my guy. Happy holidays, and I hope you guys have
Bro,
a
they're getting too
great.
many. You just gotta wrap it all up in Happy Holidays to
Hope
all.
you guys get a great upcoming New Year's. All right,
We'll be here
we'll be
soon.
here soon. More episodes to come. Thank you.